What's good? Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Uncle Snug's Storytime. I'm Uncle Snugs, and these are my stories. Before I get started today, I'd like to give a big shout out to our very first sponsor, Pua's Pickled Treats. Pua's Pickled Treats. If you're on the island of Oahu and you like pickled mango, we all do. Pua's Pickled Treats makes the best pickled mango I've ever had in my life. And I'm not just saying that. She also makes a pickled apple and a pickled orange. And if you know about the secret menu, then you'll know that she also makes pickled guava. That's pickled guava. She also makes pickled mountain apple when she can get it. So, her Instagram link will be in the description. Please make sure you add her and hit her up for all of your pickled treat needs. Okay, so we're not to our 1,000 subscriber goal yet. So please hit that subscribe button. We're almost there. We need 24 more. But because you guys have been so patient, here is part 22 of It Gets Way Worse. But don't worry, I survived. Okay, so I realized that there were so many things that happened in such a short amount of time that I left out some details and some things. So I just want to get you guys filled in on some of the other things that happened during this very short amount of time. I was super stoked that Bobo had offered that room for rent because I needed to get out of Gary's house. The the Within the first couple of days of me staying with Gary and him letting me borrow his van and me driving around with a broken leg and messed up arms, and I got into a car accident. I don't know how I don't know how I forgot that had happened. I left that out, but I got into a car accident with his van. I was taking an off ramp, and there was a yield sign for cars going straight. And we had the right of way. There was a car in front of me. There was a car going straight that didn't yield. The car in front of me slammed on his brakes. I slammed on mine. I rear-ended him, and Gary's van front end was smashed. Um, Now, obviously, it was an accident, and Gary was very rightfully upset, but it was like it was a weird kind of upset. Like it was an accident, and he acted like I I took away his family. Like it just was really a extreme reaction. I thought and I gave him money for it and everything, and he just was upset. So I just wanted to get out of there. Besides, like I said, his wife was a medic in the army, and they had to move anyway. She had gotten her notice she had to transfer, and they were moving to Texas, I think. So I wasn't going to be able to stay there very much longer anyway. So it was a huge blessing to be able to find that place to move in with Bobo. So I get my stuff all packed up. Tina helped me out, and I moved into Bobo's house. And Bobo's house was a trip because because he's a little younger than me, and when I first moved in, it was a full blown party house. And meanwhile, I felt like Uncle Snugs. You know, I'm I can't really party too much because I'm just depressed and broken physically, mentally, emotionally, and I'm really a little scared because throughout all this time, I had somebody who was trying to help me, and Bobo was there and my friend trying to help me, but I didn't have that connection with him where I felt like I could just ask him for like real help if I needed it. So the first day I just kind of sat in my room in this pile of all of my stuff everywhere, and didn't do much. But then the next day, my son came and we went and I got a bed, and he helped me move a little bit of my stuff around. And then that night, I just gradually in my wheelchair, just got my room set up and made it look real nice. Um, and I finally felt a little bit of peace in that moment. I also had mentioned in the very, very beginning of this story that I was having the best financial year of my adult life. It was going so well that we had planned a trip to go see my daughter who lived in North Carolina. We were going to fly out there for her high school graduation that year. In fact, it was coming up in a couple of months in June. Um, I had bought myself and Mary and my 8-year-old first class tickets. The first time any of us were ever going to fly first class. I found a really good deal on this website, the Hopper. The Hopper. If you guys want to sponsor, let me know, Hopper. But so I'd bought these tickets, and then after the graduation, my daughter was gonna come back with us to Hawaii for the summer, but we were gonna stop in California and go to Disneyland and all of the amusement parks. I actually had a friend here that worked at the Disney hotel that gave us passes for Disneyland. So I had all of this stuff taken care of. But when this accident happened, I explained to the doctor that I was going to go on this trip, and he said, "There's a 0% chance that you can go. There's no way. The physical condition that you're in, there's no way." It broke my heart when he said that. So when I first got home from the hospital, one of the first things I did was call my daughter and tell her, "I don't think I'm going to be able to come to the graduation." And I heard her voice start to crack, and I heard her start to cry, and she said, "It's okay, Daddy." And I told her, "Never mind what I just said. I'll be there." Now, when I said that, I was thinking that Mary, and I was also paid for my older son to go. He was going to be riding coach. That with their help, I'd still be able to make it. But now, I was only going to be relying on my son, and I needed to figure out how I was going to travel from Hawaii to North Carolina in the condition that I'm in. So, anyways, all of that's going on, and at this point, me and Mary and I had broken the TRO. We weren't supposed to have contact with each other, but I forget what happened, but for some reason we started like talking or texting, which is totally illegal. We both had TROs against each other, and we both could have went to jail just for that. But we started talking, and there's a lot of things that happened during this time too that I was going to talk about here, but I realized that some of these details don't need to be put out here for my kids to see and hear. I'm still debating on whether I'm going to tell these stories on my Onlyfans. That way it's harder for them to get to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet about those details. If you guys want to know all of the weird, steamy, spicy, I guess, details, let me know in the comments, and maybe I will put it up on the OnlyFans. But we were talking, and I had asked her about the messages that I found. And I told her I thought it was Wilbur or Chemo. And she said, "Absolutely not. Nope, nope, nope." I said, "Okay, well, who is it?" And she wouldn't tell me at first, but then she finally did. And she told me that it was this guy named Eddie. and she had been friends with this guy Eddie, like right after high school, and I forget exactly what happened, but somehow somebody who they're both friends with passed their numbers to each other, something like that. And none of it made sense to me because we had been together for 10 years. We talked about everybody we had been with, and I never heard the name Eddie. So the court date, the second court date is rolling up, and I didn't realize it at the time because so many things were going on. But the second court date, was actually the day that I'm supposed to fly out to North Carolina to go to my daughter's graduation. And at this point, no matter what, I'm going. So I call the court and I try to see if I can have the court date extended or get a continuance. If there's anything I can do, and they tell me no. What I can do is call in the morning of my court date, and I can be there by phone. And due to what was going on between me and Mary at this time, I really thought that either she would not show up to court, or if she did go to court, that she would just have the TRO squashed because, first of all, everything she said was bullshit and a lie. Secondly, there were some things going on between me and her at this time that I thought would change her mind. Anyways, she goes to court and she has the TRO dropped on my daughter, but she wants it to be extended on her. And even though I called in and was on the phone, they never let me say anything. I couldn't hear what was going on. And the judge ordered that my TRO be dropped against her and the one on her be continued but dropped off my daughter, which makes absolutely no sense. If she was afraid for her life and for my daughter's life, then why would she take the TRO off my daughter? So I end up having this TRO. I'm not supposed to be talking or seeing Mary unless it has something to do with my daughter. I'm allowed to see my daughter now, which is great. But my mind was just blown by that whole situation. So we're on our way to the airport, me and my son. And because I was still trying to save some money when I was buying these tickets, like I said, he was going to be flying coach. But I've forgotten that he was going to be on a separate plane as well. I couldn't get him a ticket on the same flight as me when I was booking him, but there was another flight that was going to be leaving 15 minutes after us and getting there 15 minutes after us when we landed in Boston. I think we landed. So the first part of this trip, I'm in a wheelchair. There's a porter from the airlines helping me on and off the plane. But I was riding first class. And, and it was a sight to see. Leg brace, arm in a sling, pimping in first class. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this part of the story. As soon as we can get the rest of these subscribers to get to our 1,000 mark, you will get part 23. And it will be at least 2 times as long as this video, okay? Once again, I thank you guys all for your support. Comment, like, and share. Go check out my TikTok at Snuggalito. All of the links will be in the description. And thank you all for your support. Until next vibe, aloha.